Welcome to the NCRP Portfolio Capstone course. I'm Professor Robert Whipple, and I want to commend you on your long journey through many courses to get this far. Throughout this process, you have become experts in the theories, best practices, research, and processes of NCRP. You will soon have an MA degree in hand and the knowledge to transform the world. To give you a bit of history about the NCRP capstone course, our program initially started as a master's degree in behavioral science with an emphasis in negotiation and conflict management in 1989. When I entered the program in 1993, it had two full-time professors, Dr. David Churchman and Dr. David Nassiter. The program focused more on behavioral science research methods and less on negotiation and conflict management. Our capstone projects were completed by a group. My group of 6 students had secured research funding to explore teaching distance learning negotiation courses using two-way interactive video between CSUDH and CETIS University in Mexico. I traveled to Tijuana twice and spent many hours interacting with students from Mexico over email. The project involved a literature review, focus groups, phone interviews, surveys, observation of people learning with the two-way interactive video systems, and a variety of other research. In the late 1990s, the online program changed its capstone from a project to a comprehensive exam. Over the few years we did the comprehensive exam, many students provided feedback that they wanted to have something more individualized and meaningful than a comprehensive exam. It was also difficult to provide academic freedom for our diverse group of adjunct faculty and have them focus their lectures towards the content of a comp exam. In 2006, Dr. Marco Turk asked me to work with him in developing and teaching a capstone course with a portfolio. We have tested this process and received feedback throughout the years to make this portfolio process this shall be a standalone culminating experience involving first an extensive written program review of the highlights learned by you in each of the required courses, plus at least one elective course representing your interest in the field. Second, an extensive presentation of a detailed question addressing an important issue in the field arising from your study. Third, an extensive written review of the literature in the field dealing with the question you developed. Fourth, an extensive written discussion concerning how the literature in the field provides a satisfactory solution to the question. And fifth, a thoughtful, extensive written outline of a future program detailing how you might continue to develop and apply all of this knowledge you've gained in the program. I have developed grading rubrics for each of the required components of the portfolio, which I will cover during the weekly lectures. You need to have the publication manual of the American Psychological Association, 6th edition, easily accessible. Amazon recently published a Kindle version, which I use. I spend a lot of time traveling on small, single propeller planes among remote villages in Alaska. All the textbooks and resources I use are digital because my bags are frequently bumped and left on the runway when the plane is beyond its weight limit. I often cite page numbers and sections from the Kindle edition when I'm giving you feedback. The other text for the course is the Handbook of Conflict Resolution, second edition. It is available through the eBrary on the CSU DH Library website. You should be able to access that using your university username and password. The Handbook of Conflict Resolution should be the most frequently cited textbook in your portfolio. I have assigned weekly readings and expect you to cite the handbook throughout your literature review and satisfactory solution. I will be asking several questions from this text during your oral defense. Once again, you need to become familiar with the publication manual of the American Psychological Association, because most of your formatting, including your grammar, usage, and mechanics of your portfolio, comes from the APA manual. Also, you should most frequently cite the Handbook of Conflict Resolution throughout your portfolio. I have posted several articles in the Course Materials tab on Blackboard. These articles will give you an overview of the portfolio method, the purpose of completing a portfolio, a comparison between a portfolio and a thesis or dissertation, evaluation criteria such as rubrics, and the impact of portfolios on your learning. This course also uses a portfolio guide that provides grading rubrics and many details about how to complete a successful portfolio. Furthermore, I will be asking a question about the efficacy of a graduate portfolio in your oral defense. These are good articles to cite when responding to that question. The question usually goes, please compare a traditional thesis to a capstone portfolio. What are the strengths of a thesis? What are the strengths of a portfolio? Another question I often ask is, you go to an interview and your interviewer asks you, what kind of capstone project did you do, or what kind of thesis did you do? And I want you to describe the strengths of a graduate portfolio. All of the due dates from January 23rd until February 28th are for you to submit the sections for my feedback. This is to let you know you are on the correct track, and I will give you feedback about what you need to improve on. I will mostly look at the content and organization of your program reviews, your literature review, the satisfactory solution, and the future program. I will be checking your citations by searching for them in your reference section. I will run a variety of electronic grammar checks, and I will also use the rubrics in the portfolio guide to determine the quality of your work. Do not submit first drafts of material that need line-by-line editing. I will reject any submission that does not have sound grammar, usage, and mechanics of standard American English. The final portfolio must be submitted before March 14th, 2014 at midnight. Let me know if you can't meet this final deadline. The majority of the course time will be spent actively participating in the peer editing process. I will be providing few lectures. The instructions are in the portfolio guide. I have previously recorded this guide in lectures, and students have let me know they would rather just read it for themselves. I have provided a portfolio guide that contains rubrics for each section of the portfolio and a checklist of what I will be looking for in the final portfolio. You should compare the portfolio section with the rubric. The participation schedule suggests dates for groups to be reviewing portfolio sections. From my experience, the students who successfully complete the portfolio write and revise every day, follow a timeline, and constantly give and receive peer feedback. Each student needs to write or revise 2 to 3 pages per day and proofread about 5 pages a day to get through this process. In the 15 years I have taught this course, approximately 80% of the students have completed their capstone on time. The 20% who did not complete the process are the students who procrastinate, don't participate in the peer review process, and then submit mediocre work at the end of the term. This is not an independent studies course, and every student is expected to participate in the peer review process. If you are not participating, I will send you reminders to participate. I will be observing the interactions and feedback in the group as a guide on the side and rarely intervene. It is the group's responsibility to motivate every member to follow the timeline and provide positive and meaningful feedback. Once again, welcome to NCR 591, the Capstone Portfolio course, and I look forward to watching the evolution of your portfolio and reading your introductions on the discussion board.